Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a special type of assembly because I'm putting together the Kabuki Strength HD trap bar, and it's not even mine. In an effort to reduce the shipping cost to the customer, what Kabuki Strength has done is they've made their bar so that it ships in a smaller box. In some cases this can result in cost savings up to 75%. Of course, that's according to their site. The shipping on this bar was very reasonable, especially for a bar of its quality and size. It arrived in a good quality box. Everything was packaged nicely. All the hardware came in a small bag like this. The only thing that's really in poor condition, there's no scratches, dents, nothing wrong with any of the equipment, but the instructions are, you know, a little bent out, but hey, that's okay. But what we got is two handle brackets. It came with an Allen wrench for these button head screws. We have the standard handle configuration that it comes with, so we have the thicker of the two. I believe this is a 1 inch and this is a 1.5 inch handle. The knurling on these, just from a first impression, is very uniform and very nice. I'll try to get a close-up shot of that to throw in the video right here. We have two sleeves, and this I thought was entertaining. So even when technically there's no need for a cap with a snap ring, they still included a cap with a snap ring construction. I think that's just a testament to Kabuki Strength quality. You know, they want that appearance on everything. Everything has to look top of the line. All the welds are very nicely done, very nicely polished, cleaned up. No real complaints. We have the feet, which are going to go on the trap bar itself. These are my tools, so 9/16 wrench and a socket set is what you need. And then it comes with, I think it's like 20 of these screws, 20 of these nuts. The countersink style screw, there's 8 of those guys. 8 of the button head style. There are 8 of these short, just normal screws, and then 4 of these longer ones. So these longer ones, these are actually for attaching the feet to the bar itself. The shorter ones are for attaching the handles using the washers. The button head screws are for attaching the handles to the bar itself, and these countersunk ones are for attaching the sleeves to the bar. So I'm just going to record putting this thing together real quick. I'm going to take you through a workout tonight. I'll give you guys my initial impression, overall thought. Just please keep in mind this is not my bar. And real quick, if you don't mind, if you enjoy this kind of content, please like this video, please subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications every time I put out a video. You kind of got to say it every video, it's just kind of part of the gig. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to attach the feet to the bar. The feet are directional. There's an up and a down. So if you look here, you can see that there's some texture. This is the downside. You want that to be down. All right, so I'm just going through, and again, just for the sake of keeping things the same, I'm following their instructions exactly. So the next thing up is attaching the sleeves. These go real easy. You literally just slide them straight in the end. And we're going to be using these countersunk screws, or these countersink screws. Alright, so just kind of like a little gee whiz moment here. I'm looking through the instructions that were sent from Kabuki, and I found it interesting. So these are countersunk screws that attach the sleeve to the handle. I guess I misread the instructions when I was originally going through and getting ready to put this together. And I saw countersunk screws, and I thought, well, of course that's where the countersunk screws go. So just as a little interesting tidbit, the instructions actually say the exact opposite. The instructions say to use the countersunk holes or countersunk screws to attach the handles, which I'm not going to do because I'm pretty sure that's a typo, but I'm pretty sure Kabuki's instructions are written incorrect. That or I'm just reading them wrong. Honestly, the instructions could be a little bit better. But it does say attach the handle brackets to the bar by lining the holes with the 4 holes on the inside and using the countersunk bolts and a nut on the inside of the bar. So I'm going to use the button heads because these are countersunk holes. It makes the most sense to use them there. With these, there is a top and a bottom to this bracket. That doesn't mean that there's a top or a bottom to the bar. It just means that however you put one side on, you have to put the other side on in the same way. Alright, then the last step is the handles. So for this one, I'm going to put the fat handles on the top and the skinny handles in the bottom. So this bracket has kind of been giving me some trouble. This one, it slips right in, like perfect. With this side, it's just a little bit too narrow, but it's, honestly, it's probably well within tolerance. You just kind of got to finagle it in there. No big deal, just as a note. All right, well, that's assembly complete on the bar. As you can see, it goes together really easy. The only hiccup, if I was to call it a hiccup, is that one of the brackets, I can't remember which one, it's like a few mils narrower than the handle. So I just had to like pull out on the handle while I stuck that in. Not that big of a deal. I did find one scratch in the powder coat or the paint from shipping. It's tiny. It's not even worth showing you guys. I mean, but that's all I found. This handle, the top handle, these are the standard handle sets that come with it. And this skinny handle is really skinny. Like, I'm pretty sure that's like a 25 mil thick handle. If this was my bar, I would probably replace it and I would make this my skinnier handle and I would get that big fat 2-inch, I think they call it the love handle, with the rotating grip. But that's the assembly. Went together really easy, feels super solid. It should be noted that there's like a rattle. But that rattle is just these end caps. And they look solid, it looks good. The bar went together easy. Can't wait to use it tonight. So, overall first impression before I use it. This thing is very well put together. All the screws, so like looking at these screws on the feet, I'll show you a close-up on these, but the screws on the feet are literally the exact right length so that the screw doesn't stick out past the nut very far, which is good because, you know, that's on an edge, you could catch something. I thought the instructions were a little bit wacky between the button head screws and the countersunk screws. Personally, I mean, I don't know why they didn't just go countersunk all the way around. I don't know why they felt the need to include these button holes. I'm guessing it was a cost savings measure because I'm sure that to countersink holes, that's an extra process. And you know, you countersink 8 holes per bar extra. You know, you're paying more over a longer period of time. The button holes aren't bad. I mean, there's no way that you would hit them with your hand. And even if you did, they are button holes, so they're nice and smoothed over. The the screw length going on the inside, it's not as precise as on the feet, but again, nothing should get into this space, so there's no reason that you should catch that on anything. The bar balances, well, as it almost falls over. So the bar balances on its own pretty nice. Yeah, okay. Good, I'm not crazy. So the bar balances on its own pretty nice. It feels stable. This was one of the things I was nervous about when I decided to throw a video up on this, is I wasn't sure how stable it'd be when it was upright. I definitely wouldn't store it upright. I have small children that run around the house, and I guarantee you this would come down on them. It's not that it's super heavy, but you know, I don't want that to happen to my kids. You know, probably not the best thing in the world. But I mean, I can't say anything negative about this bar. The knurling, I'm super excited to try this knurling out. It feels very uniform. It feels not aggressive, but definitely not passive. So I would say this is somewhere between, so if you're using Rogue bars, this is more aggressive than their Olympic style knurling that you would find like on their Olympic bars. It's way more aggressive than their hybrid bar knurling, but it's not even close to as aggressive as the power bar knurling. So like somewhere halfway between those. If you use other kind of bars, so this would feel, if you got the Buddy Caps, his newest bar, his hybrid bar, I can't remember what it's called, but basically it's a CrossFit style bar. It's a little bit more aggressive than that one, but not much more. Once you get up to the power bar though, it's nowhere near as aggressive as that. So it's just kind of like a nice knurling. It was missing one of these washers as well. Again, not a big deal. I have a pretty large bench stock of hardware, but the inventory says that it came with 8. Now, I'm sure that had I messaged them that they would have gotten back to me really quick and definitely overnighted me a washer, but it wasn't necessary. I had one in my bench stock, so not a big deal. But assembly went together easy. It looks nice. I love the end caps because it's ridiculous to me, but I love it. I can't wait to try tonight. So I'll see you guys after tonight's footage. So with training, post-surgery, my deadlift just really isn't that impressive. So I'm showing you some movements here up around like the 400 to 500 pound mark. There is a slight rattle to the end caps as they come down, but this bar is freaking solid. I believe this is an even 505 pounds right here. And it moves nicely, it feels nicely. You can grab it all the way off center and it doesn't really shift in your hand. This is where it really shines though, so it's an open-ended trap bar, so you can use it for all these movements that are a little bit more difficult to use a traditional closed trap bar with. And then here's some stiff leg deadlifts. This was just our finisher, so super lightweight, but like I've said, it's just a beautiful bar, beautiful piece of equipment, and it was an absolute pleasure to use. We did load it up to 975 pounds the night before, and it got me thinking, like, hey, if I go borrow my neighbor's calibrated plates, let's load this thing up, see if we can get it up to the claimed 1,500 pound capacity, and see what it feels like to rotate it. So here is that. I mean, that's not bad for however much weight that is. Do you mind just making sure I don't kill myself here? Yeah. So I went up to 115 pounds. 115 was like the biggest. So the max reading that we got on it was 115 pounds. It's loaded to 1,455 pounds right now. It is a claimed 1,500 pound max. I just don't have the plates to actually load it. Nothing really bent on the bar, like there was really no drooping. There's a little bit, but not that much. The end 45s are still free, so they would just slip off if you pulled them off. But the bar holds up nicely, it looks nicely. Plus when it's fully loaded, it just looks cool. Based on the assembly, based on the quality, based on using it the first time, actually testing to see weight capacity. But anyways, after using it, so the knurling is outstanding. It definitely chewed through the hands just a little bit. It was aggressive. It was funny though, it's It's not that it's an aggressive knurl, it's just that it's so uniform, and for being as unaggressive feeling as it is, it really grabs. Like, it really just grabs your skin. There was one guy that was training with us that night who actually had some tear in one of his calluses, which didn't happen to him very often. Second, the skinny handle. Oh my gosh. So it is 25 mils. We spec'd it out. It's too skinny, in my opinion. It might be good. I imagine if you have small hands, maybe you need a 25 mil bar to hang on to. But if you're like a normal size male, adult male, that 25 mil is pretty thin. I feel like it would actually hurt if you did any significant weight with it. That's how thin it is. But we talked about it a whole bunch. So I am a competitive strongman, and by competitive I mean I'm an amateur strongman, and I enjoy going to competition. If I was looking at making a purchase of that amount of money, so keep in mind it's like $650 for this bar, I think I would rather opt for a piece of equipment like the Mike Bartos Power Center Dead Sled. I just feel like that might be a better option for strongman, because it is a frame. It's like a rickshaw, so it's a frame. It has fat and thin handles. It doesn't have knurling on the handles, but you can lower it all the way down. You have two different handle options. It can be used as a trap bar. Plus, it's open-ended on the one side. The other advantage is that the Dead Sled's also a sled. Now, if I wasn't a strongman and I could only pick one thing, like that trap bar, that is easily the nicest bar that I've ever used. The knurling was beautiful. The construction was beautiful. Everything about it. Like, I can't really complain. It was just a very well put together bar. In my opinion, it is worth the $650 price tag that's on it. Now, whether you're willing to pay that price tag, that's really the deciding factor. So if you're willing to pay the $650 to have your forever trap bar, and I'm telling you, like, that is a forever trap bar, it is worth the money, and do it right now. Keep in mind, a lot of other trap bars that are of similar quality, or not even of similar quality, they're still running like $400. So you're already 60% there, 60, 70% there in your total cost. You might want to look at potentially upgrading to the Kabuki strength bar. It might be worth your money. So some of the things I was originally concerned about, the feet that you rotate it up on, I wasn't sure how stable that would be, but it was stable. I'm telling you, it was really stable, especially with weight loaded on it. Like, it's not one of those things where you're just going to bump it over. It's definitely very well designed. It stays upright when you want it to be upright. It's going to lay down when you want it to lay down. And then one more like super perk. So with the trap bar, I have a Rogue TB1, I think. It's just the single height trap bar. The handles on it are like that. And if you grab it off center by any more than maybe 1 or 2 finger widths, the whole bar will just like shift in such a way, because it's off center, that it'll actually start to like impact your feet if you don't lift right. I grabbed the Kabuki trap bar as far off center as I could with about 400 pounds on it, and it maybe came back like 2 degrees, maybe a little bit more than 2 degrees, but not that far. Like, it really wasn't that far. I was able to finish the set, and I did it intentionally, and I did it going all the way forward and all the way back. So, hey, that is my assembly, my load testing. That is my initial impressions and review of the Kabuki strength bar. Solid piece of equipment. Bottom line, highly recommend it, especially if you're in the market for a trap bar and you want to do movements that you can't do with the traditional trap bar, like, lunges, step-ups, seal rows, anything you can think of. I think he even has curls on the website. You can do curls with it. Do it, buy it. You won't regret the purchase. I guarantee you won't regret the purchase. And by I guarantee, I'm not going to pay for it if you regret it, but I really don't think you're going to regret your purchase. But that's been my review. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. If you could, watch some of my other videos. Go ahead and click there to watch some suggested videos, and please subscribe to the channel. It really does help a whole bunch. I appreciate all you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on the next equipment review. I'm pretty sure I got a box arriving tomorrow.